Hello and welcome to number 17 of these documentations. Today will be an experiment. First of all, as you can probably hear right away, I'm having a cold, which means that there might be some sneezing interruptions, and also everything is like in a haze, so I may hit even more wrong notes than usually. But I have a special purpose to do this despite this cold, because today I will try to address a subject which is very important for me. And this is the subject of the resistance to this kind of approach to playing the piano. The resistance can be double. So that one thing is that it might be difficult to understand what I'm doing, and there might be people that I have met over the years that still think that I will never be able to play the piano, and the utterance from a friend many years ago who said that he would personally believe in God if I was ever able to play the piano. Such a thing hurts, but this is only part of the resistance. The other part of the resistance is that it's very, very difficult not to suffer from an urge to satisfy those who are skeptical. And today I think I might be able to simply skip that and wish you welcome into the workshop even tighter. So as there was the last time, and even more so today, I will not just try to play entire pieces in order to satisfy somebody or in order to convince somebody that I will be able to play the piano. I know for myself that I am following a route to piano playing where I might be the only one in history about whom you can say that, but I feel a responsibility for what I am doing, and I feel responsible for documenting it. And to say it briefly, I've said this a number of times, but let me say it again. I can already play the piano. I was born with the ability to play the piano. And even this even though this might sound preposterous, I was born with the ability of a super virtuoso, which means that in a little while I will be able to play everything. And this is not possible to hear at the moment, but maybe today I can illustrate what is happening. The ability to play everything does not come from long years of practice of moving the fingers in order to make the fingers and the muscles able to play everything. It's only a contact between my mind and my hands which is strengthening. And as this contact is strengthening, the sound is improving, the consciousness with which I touch the single keys is improving. and thus my ability to make sound, my ability to vary the sound, and my ability to move the hands quicker and with safety really increases. So today I want to give you a couple of examples of sound, different sounds, and what I'm trying to do when I'm just sitting for myself and playing. Yesterday, I believe it was, I tried for the first time to play a bit of the Schumann Carnival, and I'll play just a few bars of this, and I'm aiming for a special D-flat chord, which has an enormous sound in this room. And I still remember the stories about Horowitz and Neo Jassy playing the first chords of the Tchaikovsky B-flat concerto, where the conductor almost fell off his chair, and the ability to play chords with power in all 10 fingers is apparently not something you meet all the time, but this is growing for me. So, well, in a haze, I'll just play a few bars with wrong notes of the Schumann Carnival, and I do this only in order to illustrate some kind of power of sound, a unity of sound, which I love in this entrance to this work. And I've only found very, very few recordings which I find satisfactory in that respect. That's Michelangeli and Horowitz and yeah, well, mostly those two. But, well, try and listen to this. Then comes the chord that I really love here. That was Schumann. Then, in my conquest, it's called, with this skepticism, as I said before, to try to convince somebody of something is impossible if the persons in question are not inclined to listen. I remember from reading about the premieres of Carmen and La Bohème, where the thumbs were down, and reviews which are really hurting, might lead somebody to commit suicide or to really break down, as in the case with the review of Rachmaninoff's First Symphony, where I believe it was Cesare Cui who wrote that it was as if it was written by conservatory students from hell, and Rachmaninoff had to go into therapy in order to come past that. And we should not underestimate the energy in the person who is reviewed, the energy to satisfy the reviewer. Poor Bruckner, who revised and revised and revised and died before he completed the Ninth Symphony. and Maria Callas, where the press judged her to be some kind of selfish lady who cancelled just anything in a whim. And I'm quite sure that some problems about her voice came about because she no longer rested on the flow of circulation with the audience, but with her voice all the time had to convince the audience that she was an okay person. So the provocating things about what I do is that it demands of those who listen that they're open to what I'm trying to tell. I'll play a few things here where, if you do remember how it sounded last time, you will remember also that you will be able to hear the difference. And I'll play almost the same that I usually do, but I will explain this with the different colors of sound. The first study of Chopin in C major is one if I sat down now and really practiced, I will be able to play it. But I'm not interested in doing that because I don't want to play it unless I have reached the level where it's completely easy, and it's coming close to that. You can hear now when I play some of these bars that I hit more notes than I usually do, and you can begin to hear the chord, the extreme beauty of sound, and the beginning of these sounds talking to each other. And then this resistance is there again. I'm trying to do it again and not to convince anybody. See, it's really very tough thing when you have been told your entire life that you will never be able to play the piano because you have to start when you are 3. And I know that it is coming gradually, this this ability to do it. And I'm sure you could hear what I'm trying to do here. Let me try another example where the quality of the sound is everything. It's not enough for me just to be able to place the fingers the right place, but I have to get this angelic sound, and it's not far away. It's the Bénédiction de Dieu dans la solitude by Liszt, and there is these chords in the beginning with quite a big spread, and to get full sound here you have to be able to make full sound with all the fingers and not just with some of them. like in the D flat chord before. I mentioned, I think earlier, that one of my friends here tried to make a sound as great as the one I'm producing here, but it was not possible. You cannot do it by banging. You have to hit the center of the sound somehow. So I love this piece, and it's so holy to me that I only dare touch it briefly, and slowly realizing how the sound is coming to the fore. I do that again. Yeah, well, you will get small examples. The Bach French Suite in D minor. I'm gradually coming closer to what I hear as a Bach sound. There's very much difficulty in the way you touch a key. For instance, when I play the Mozart Sonata in G, then the sound has, to me, a kind of flowering quality, some kind of extreme storytelling beauty. This might be details which is not possible for everyone to hear, but try again and see what I mean. And when I play Bach, the Bach sound, as I hear it, is more distinct, a bit more solid, with another kind of beauty, which is not storytelling beauty, but with a beauty about balance of sound in a mathematical sense, or like the balance in gravity and the laws of nature. Once again. will be all for that. I've experimented a bit more with César Franck prelude, chorale, and fugue, and also here I'm studying my ability to transform what I hear to the actual sound. So playing the entire piece will come, but I love music so much that I will not I will not torture people by trying to play entire pieces of music until I can play it the way I love. Like a cartoon once where a child asks his father, "Are you coming to the school concert?" "No, I'm afraid not," says the father. "Why not? We're playing all the music you love." "Yes, that's why," he says. Well, that's not very kind, but I suppose you get the meaning. This César Franck piece I hear as played on an organ, or with an organ somehow in the mind. These chords in the beginning are so beautiful that I hardly dare touch them. I've done that before, but of course I want to do it, and well, you can hear how the progress is there. Well, I have said a number of times, don't mind that I'm not hitting the right notes. And this time I really mean it, because I would like very much to experience that somebody out there are actually listening to what I'm trying to say. And it's very, very difficult to resist the temptation of trying to satisfy skeptical opinions. And I'm sure that many people suffer from that. They dare not do it their own way because you are expected to do it otherwise. And what I'm doing here is not only like in the air and from people whom I correspond with, and who have for whom it's very, very difficult to understand that this will ever lead to anything, and then to years of resistance from people back in when I was 19, who told me that whatever, well, they didn't say it like that, but the effect was that if I dare to touch an instrument, I will destroy the music. So I'm coming back from that, and I'll try also to play this the beginning of the chorale of César Franck, which now has even more organ quality than the last time I tried to do it. There's this wonderful transition from B minor that was not so bad. Also, this Rachmaninoff prelude, which I really love to play, has much more sound now. I can still not play the entire prelude, but I really want you to hear how much sound there actually is now in this piece. With this resistance. Every time I try to play, then my relationship with the camera ignites this automatic process. Now you had to play all the notes because otherwise they will think that you don't know anything about music. And then I'm disturbed, and that's annoying, but this is what I'm struggling past. I'll do that again. You see, that's really difficult, and there's an eagerness in me to make this really sound the way I can. And then there's this disturbance which is preventing me from actually doing it with full might. But I will fight it. Get there. And when I'm by myself and not recording to convince somebody, I hate when I do that, then it's much more difficult. But I still want to document this. This is not a series in order to show somebody that I'm a pianist. It's a series to document a process which is unusual. And if I succeed, which I know I will, then maybe that could be an example for some other musicians or artists or some who try to do what they want to do, but are stopped somehow in a psychological way by the total demand of doing what other people want them to do. The only person who has full access to our own powers are ourselves. Yeah, I love this Liszt sonata, and also here you will be able to hear that something is changing. I can do more things than I normally do, and before I do that, I just reminded me of something I would like to tell. When this sound is increasing, I'm getting more and more consciousness in my fingers, then I'm better and better able to tell a story. So of course, if I make a chord and I have only consciousness in the 1 or 2 fingers on each hand, it's very difficult to form or shape or mold. But I can make differences in sound, different sound colors. Before I play something from the Liszt sonata, then again let me try this F major ballad, where the beginning, the soft beginning here, is much different. I can tell a story now with much more variety than usual. This presto con fuoco part, I'm being more and more proud of, because it's coming to the front with something which is different than just hitting the right notes with the right fingers. It's extreme drama and power in there. Yeah, and so to the Liszt Sonata, where it's incredible to find out that in music you think you know from inside out. There's still new hidden treasures, new ways to do it. last part, I'm so crazy with that sound that when I play it, I can't help just play and play, and then I hit the wrong notes, but it will come. Let's see, I would like to show a bit more. I will also play the Wedding of Trollhaugen, and this time also I will do that to illustrate the new sounds that are coming forward. And before that, let me try a few other things. There's this Scriabin study, which I really like, and in order to play it the soft telling way I want it to be played, you have to again be able to control all the fingers, because otherwise it will just be forte. But I like to tell a story. Once again. One more time. And I'm very satisfied with this. This is important for me to state that I'm not embarrassed showing that I can't hit the right notes. I'm proud that there's a sound coming which in the end excuse me, eventually will carry it all. And I believe there was one more thing I would like to demonstrate also. Yes, maybe it was this. You can hear that the sounds in these arpeggios or like overtone aura chords are getting clearer, and it's not possible to do that just to move the fingers. It's the sound of each note. Well, whatever. And yes, I guess just in the end, the Wedding of Trollhaugen. And let me illustrate one point. This one. Now I can't play it outside the context of the entire thing. So you have to wait. But there's some beauty here which I've for many months not been able to play. But if I do it, it will be very, very beautiful in a new telling way. So it's not there, but it's almost there. Well, I think I've illustrated some of my points with the differences in sound. And I'm very, very optimistic because this is working, and I will conquer. Thank you for listening.